Hey, good afternoon. It's Catherine Sutton with Mississippi Heroes, and I'm here today with the beautiful and awesome Kathy Brown van Zutphen with Coastwide Law. So we're going to talk a little bit about the November conference and what she's going to be touching base on at the conference. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Kathy?
Good morning. I'm Kathy Brown van Zutphen. I'm an attorney here in Gulfport, Mississippi, although I'm licensed in Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. And I do a variety of things, but primarily I do states, trusts, and what I call elder law issues, helping people who have a family member that may need some assistance.
Yeah, so I know over the course of getting to know you, I've learned that you deal a lot with elder care law and you have a lot of caregivers in your sphere. And that's one of the reasons you have agreed to talk in November, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah, I have been practicing law since about 1997. So the first 15 years I did insurance defense work. Then my father developed Parkinson's disease, so I had to help care for him, and I became a caregiver myself. And obviously, because of my own family's issues, I had to learn about the area of elder law. And therefore, now I have my own office and I do a lot of elder law issues, as well as I said, still do some just plain old car wrecks and estate work and other things. So I like to say, whatever problems your family may be encountering, I will be happy to try to help.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's something that a lot of people don't want to think about. Um, it's usually, especially elder care law or wills, estate planning. I'm sure you see a lot of people wait until it's too late.
I guess it's human nature to put things off till you're forced to deal with it. But unfortunately, that limits your options in the law. So it's always, you have more options. And if the person, you bring your family member, whoever it may be, in earlier, and we can discuss the options. There are all kinds of things that you can do if you're proactive and act early enough. Of course, not only your will, but there's also the area of trusts. That might be an option that you'd be interested in. If you wait till it's too late, and by too late, I mean that your loved one already has dementia and would not be able to help participate in the process because they're not legally competent, then your options are more limited in that you'd probably would have to go to the court, get a conservatorship, guardianship over the person, which I'm not saying is a bad option, but I'm just saying most people would probably prefer to catch it earlier and handle it earlier, where there may be more options available to them rather than just that.
Yeah, it's also kind of alleviates, I would assume, a lot of stress and anxiety if you're planned ahead versus doing it after the fact.
Definitely, because quite often, by the time a family comes to see me, they're already in crisis, meaning they're already sort of crying and they don't know which way to turn. So yeah, we can help plan for this in advance and alleviate this crisis that may occur if you don't have a plan.
Right.
And it certainly does cause a lot of stress, especially for the family when they don't, I have people who don't know, like maybe it's an elderly loved one, maybe it's a mother or a father, or sometimes it's a husband, and they don't even know all the assets or all the accounts or the wishes of the person, what they really would like to have happen. And it's always, I would say, better if you can handle this early enough and get the input of your loved one and plan for what if. There are plenty of what ifs in life, so plan for those in advance so that you don't have a crisis. If something does happen, you've got a plan. Everyone's sort of agreed upon it. It's not a confrontation. It's certainly a lot easier on the family to know what the person wants to have happen and to just have a plan to implement it rather than it suddenly being a crisis for everyone.
Right. And I personally have seen it happen to where somebody can't find their original will. So if you don't have your original will, you don't always have the option to execute the wishes of somebody who has passed. Correct?
That's true. And there's, it's all very fact specific, but especially in this day and age when we have so many families, there may be what I call blended families. There may be a second marriage, or maybe children from a first marriage and children from a second marriage. There's just a lot of options out there for handling that sort of situation, but it's always better to know up front. I will tell you some of the worst cases are when we have, for instance, there was a gentleman who passed away. He was an architect. He was not one of my clients, but I just heard about this. He was an architect. He passed away unexpectedly, and the family had no plan or he had no will, no trust, no plan of any kind. So his family didn't know how to sort of continue, to pay their mortgage. His clients couldn't get their work from him because architects have a stamp. They have to stamp their own projects. And so he had some completed work for, including some government contracts that he had. The clients had no way to get their work. And then the employees had no way to get paid. It was just crippling for everyone because there was absolutely no plan and nothing in place for how to handle this sort of sudden death.
Right.
So none of us know, obviously, what the future holds. None of us know when we're going to pass away. And this gentleman was not terribly old. So,
yeah.
So anyway, it's always better to at least have some kind of plan and some documents. And as you stated, put your documents in a safe place, maybe a bank box or somewhere where they're going to be safe. And also,
let people know where they are.
Exactly. Let people know where they are and let someone have access to it.
Right.
So with a will, we call that the executor or executrix. With a trust, that's the trustee, successor trustee. So it's like picking who you want to have handle things when you're unable to do so for yourself.
Yeah.
And it may mean not necessarily that you passed away, but maybe you've got dementia or have some other crisis, a health crisis.
Right.
Maybe you have to go into the hospital for open heart surgery and be in the hospital out of commission, so to speak, for several weeks.
Right.
So you need some plan and someone designated that can help you out in those circumstances.
Yeah.
And then if you recover, get over your surgery, go back home, everything's fine, then you can take back over.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be a fatal situation. You can just have a plan.
Temporary. Yeah.
Temporary. We all have surgeries sometimes. We all have
life happens.
Even if you're going on a vacation, somebody needs to be minding the store, as they say. So I think it's something that would benefit everyone.
Yeah. So I know we're excited to have you in November and share some key aspects of what you just said with the conference attendees and caregivers. And so do you have anything else you want to say about just in general for the conference, like for attendees, why they should come listen to you?
Well, this is something that I think, or information I think that everyone could benefit from, but everyone said they want to make it interesting. They don't want to just listen to a boring speech. So I'm entitling this speech, Drugs, Sex, Rock and Roll, and Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Estate Planning. So I'm incorporating some true stories that sort of involve drugs, sex, and rock and roll, and try to make it interesting. And I think the people I've given this speech before, and the people seem to find it very interesting. So hopefully it's not going to be a dry, boring speech, but it's going to be some information that would help everybody and entertaining maybe. So.
Well, it's definitely a tough topic to talk about, but doing it with a little pizzazz or a little bit of, there's always ways you can present things in a fun way. So you do a good job at that. I was actually at that talk. It was very it was very informative and entertaining. So you presented the information in a light way. So
And it
I,
is all true. I mean, some of
mhm.
that stuff you're like, oh, no way. You're like, yeah, all this
uh,
is stuff that really happens.
it does. Life does happen in so many different ways. So we're definitely looking forward to having you in November. And hopefully you'll come back and talk to us again as we get closer to the conference. But yeah, is there anything you'd like to say before we get off the phone?
I guess not. I don't know what you want me to say, but I hope people do attend, and I hope they listen to it and get some good information out of it. And, you know, it helps them. And if nothing else, like I said, it's some entertaining stories. So,
Yeah.
so
It definitely is. And so we're super excited. For those that don't know, the conference is going to be November 4th from 9 to 4 at the Hollywood Casino in Bay St. Louis. It's going to be a great day full of wonderful speakers and a lot of very informative information, but in a fun, light way. So we appreciate you talking with us today, and we will talk to you soon.
okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Look forward to it.